Good night. Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming. My wife and I waved as our last party guest stepped off our porch. Amy and I regularly threw a holiday party for the neighbors. The parties started with just 4 couples and have grown steadily over the years. This year there were over 35 attendees, and about a third of them didn't live in our neighborhood. I assume that the growth in attendance was largely due to the increasingly heavy consumption of alcohol and the silly, naughty games that became a welcome event. Each year, the games became a little more risque, but never over the top. Like Amy and I, most of the participants were between 25 and 35 years old, and most had a couple kids. So it wasn't exactly the wild and crazy group you might have hung out with in college. They were just good, hard-working young parents who needed to let their hair down for one night a year. The neighborhood ladies always brought more food than the party-goers could ever eat, and all of my husbands and I made sure there was an abundance of booze. So when a few neighbors started bringing friends from outside the neighborhood, it was no big deal. Well, until this year, it was no big deal. This year, without saying anything to me, my wife invited a few of her co-workers to the party. Among those she invited was Ron Stevens. Ron was her teammate in the outside sales department of their company. He and Amy had worked together for the past 5 years and had gotten very close. Perhaps a little too close if my suspicions were accurate. They traveled together frequently and attended week-long outside sales conferences twice a year. Just a few days before the party, he was the subject of some pretty heated conversations in our family. His presence in my home prevented me from enjoying the evening. I helped Amy clean the house and take out the trash. When I returned, she was just finishing up in the kitchen. It was time to deal with her. So, what made you think inviting Ron and your other co-workers to our neighborhood party was a good idea? I like those people, so I thought it would be fun to invite them here. I think they all had fun and got along well with everyone else. What's the problem here? Really, Amy? You know how I feel about your relationship with this guy, and you invited him into my house. It's my house too, Mark. I can invite whoever I want to my party. I don't need your permission. So, you think it's okay to embarrass me by flaunting your boyfriend at my house in front of your co-workers and our friends? You think I didn't see your co-workers' smirks and raised eyebrows? What are you talking about? I told you 50 times, Ron is not my boyfriend. Nobody smirked at you. It's just your stupid jealousy, and I'm sick of it. You think no one saw you sneaking upstairs with him? What were you doing, Amy? Why did you have to be upstairs alone with Mr. Wonderful? Fuck you. We didn't sneak upstairs. He needed the toilet and the downstairs bathroom was occupied. I just showed him the guest bathroom. I wasn't upstairs more than a minute or two. God, you're getting ridiculous. Another lie. You disappeared for more than 30 minutes. I know, because your slutty accomplice, Gail, was trying to keep me busy so I wouldn't notice you sneaking off with Ron. I saw what she was doing, so I watched the clock. You're crazy! Gail was probably just trying to be friendly. God only knows why she was trying so hard with you. I noticed that she didn't respond to the accusation of lying. She was a skilled negotiator, but apparently a less skilled liar. Amy, surprising me by inviting her boyfriend here, was a low blow and the last straw. I will no longer put up with your lies and disrespect. I turned and walked up the stairs as she hurled more lies and insults at me. I went to our bathroom and started to gather some of my toiletries. As I was putting my stuff in my bag, I dropped my deodorant. I bent over and had to dig through the trash to retrieve it and caught a flash of gold foil. My heart clenched and my hand froze. I took a deep breath and grabbed the foil. Holy shit, it was a condom wrapper. Game over. I had a vasectomy after the birth of our second child, so I didn't need condoms. Now I knew everything I suspected was true. That bitch was cheating on me. Amy stormed through the open bathroom door, continuing to hurl insults and telling me I was paranoid. I stood with my back to her and slowly turned to face her, holding the foil in front of me. It's not paranoia when it's the truth? Oh, shit. Someone must have slipped this in as some kind of joke. It's not what you think. I didn't do anything. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Just stop lying. It's over, Amy. I'm done. Don't dream. It's not over. This was a mistake. This wasn't part of my plan. Yeah, I know you didn't plan for me to find proof of your deception. This was a big mistake. No, that's not what I mean. Please let me explain what happened. I think it's pretty damn obvious what happened. You snuck out of a party and slept with your boyfriend while I was downstairs entertaining your friends. Was that particularly exciting? Fucking him in my house while I was downstairs? No, it wasn't like that. Please, baby, please let me explain. This is not what I had planned. I slipped the foil into my pocket. Amy recoiled to the side as I squeezed past her. I heard her trying to catch me as I walked into the guest bedroom and slammed the door in her face. I clicked the lock just as Amy grabbed the handle. Mark, please, you have to let me explain. It's not what you think. Please, Mark, please open the door. You have to talk to me. Please open the door. I was sure she didn't know how to pick the door lock, but I moved the dresser toward the door just in case. Amy pounded on the door and begged me to open it until I turned on the TV and turned up the volume. It was hard to fall asleep. I replayed in my head every time Amy worked late, went on overnight sales trips, and attended conferences. Was she having fun with Ron the whole time? Shit! It was too painful to imagine, but it seemed to be real. A tear rolled down my cheek, and my insides clenched as I thought about having to tell my little girls that their mommy and daddy were breaking up. Damn it, how could she do that to our children? How could she be so selfish? What could have made her fall in love with another man? Was I a bad husband? Why? Why is this happening? The questions, the doubts, the pain, the frustration. It was excruciating. I hardly slept at all. It seemed like only a few minutes had passed as the morning sun burst through the window, taunting me. I threw back the blanket and got out of bed. I had a lot to do on this Sunday morning. I pushed back the dresser and walked out into the hall. The door to the room was open. I leaned over just enough to see Amy still prostrate across the bed. I closed the door and went to the guest bathroom to clean myself up. I got dressed and went into the kitchen to get coffee. I was just taking my cup to the table when Amy walked in. She looked awful. Her eyes were puffy. Her hair was a mess. Her nose was red. And I think she was hungover, but damn it, she still seemed beautiful to me. My stomach clenched with another wave of pain. Shit! How could this have happened to us? Do I have enough for a cup? Help yourself, I said, pointing to the counter. Next to the coffee pot stood her coffee cup. I had already poured the exact amount of skim milk she liked into the cup, just like I did every morning. Heck, I didn't even realize I'd done it. She poured herself a cup of coffee, took it to the table, and sat down across from me. Mark, I screwed up. I thought I was being so smart. I thought it would teach you a lesson, but now I realize I messed up. I'm an idiot. I just wanted to shock you, but it just went wrong. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve to be treated like that. You have every right to be mad at me. Well, thank you for giving me your permission to be angry. That's so generous of you. You invite your boyfriend over to my house and then proceed to have him over, knowing that the house is full of our friends and your coworkers. God, it's really generous of you to let me get mad about that. No. Honey, please let me explain from the beginning. It's a little late to explain your plans. Me and all of our neighbors had to watch you put your plan into action last night. Oh my God! Amy jumped up and ran over to my chair. She pulled one side of the chair, turning me away from the table, quickly settled on me, and wrapped her arms around my neck. Please, baby, you have to let me explain this, please. Just give me 5 minutes. Please, Mark. I jerked my head away from her face, away from her lips as she tried to kiss my cheek. As she pleaded with me, tears streamed down her face. I was so angry. I almost stood up and threw her down on her cheating ass, but I knew I could never physically hurt her. Even though she fully deserved it, I just couldn't do it. I mean, what kind of cowardly weakling would I have to be to physically harm a woman? I took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. Okay, Amy, 5 minutes. Now please get off me. 5 minutes. And I'm not moving. I can't risk you leaving before I tell you everything. I lifted my left wrist and looked at my watch. I know now that it was really stupid, but all of that last night was just a sham until that dumbass Ron did the dope. I raised an eyebrow. Okay. You've been complaining about Ron for months. You repeatedly said you didn't trust him, and consequently, you didn't believe I could handle the douchebag. Even if I told you I had no sexual interest in him, you wouldn't believe me. It was like you thought I was a naive little teenage girl who couldn't resist the ingratiating salesman. Ha! Like I would ever buy his lines or any other shitty guy. Okay, I'll admit that he did try to hit on me like a lot of other guys. Heck, sometimes even some of my clients hit on me thinking I might sweeten the deal just to make a sale. Mark, I'm not a dog. I know what I look like, and I know guys will always try, but I always say no. Of course, I've learned to say no with a nice smile so as not to hurt anyone's ego, but it's always a firm no. So, after what seemed like the 40th or 50th time you started hitting on me about some crap, I just got pissed off and decided to show you how stupid you were being. So I came up with a plan and asked Ron and Gail to help me. I knew you saw me go upstairs with Ron. In fact, we had to wait until you finished filling your bowl of ice so you would be facing the stairs when we made our move. Gail had to be so obvious that you knew right away that she was our distraction as we made our way upstairs. It worked exactly as I had planned. I took Ron to our room and put him in my chair. I sat on the bed and waited for you to burst into the room. After a few minutes, I realized that you weren't coming to save me or confront me. At that moment, I was too drunk to realize how much I had hurt you. I guess I thought you had just given up on us, and I started crying. Ron came over to me, pulled me into his arms, and let me cry on his shoulder. After a few minutes, I realized that he was stroking my back and my hair. I stopped crying and started to pull away from him, but he kissed me. I must have been a few seconds too late to react, and he took it as a green light. I pushed into his chest, and he broke the kiss, but still pressed against me. I pushed harder, and we pulled away from each other. I growled at him and asked what the hell he was doing. He smirked and said, "Oh, please, I know the plan was just a ruse to lure me here. Well, now we're here, so let's get down to business." I leaned over, took off my heel and threw it at him, hitting him in the chest. He flinched and looked at me, finally seeing my indignant face. Then he just turned and ran into the bathroom. He must have thrown the condom, flushed the water, and tossed the foil in the trash while he was in there. Baby, I had no idea that dumbass would pull shit like that. I told Gail what he did, and she kicked his ass and made him leave with her. I could call her, and she would confirm it all. I just looked at her. I got up very slowly, putting one arm around her and pulling her off my lap. I let go of her and picked up my cup and walked over to the coffee maker. As I filled my cup again, she slid in next to me. "Mark, please talk to me. I know you're mad about what I did, but I didn't cheat. I told you what happened. I never touched him. Like most of us, he was a little drunk last night and screwed up. Kissing and exposing myself was definitely not part of my plan. He's stupid. I don't want to cause any problems at work. But on Monday at the office, Gail and I will make sure he suffers for his stupidity." "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Will you ever be able to forgive me?" I studied her for a moment. "So what you're saying is that you staged your little secret stair climb so I'd be sure to witness it. You assumed that I would be so angry that I would rush into our bedroom to stop my wayward wife from fucking her boyfriend on my bed. Then, when I would burst into the room and find you two just sitting there innocently chatting, I assume you plan to laugh and ridicule me for being a jealous spouse. Let me guess. Gail was going to lead the rest of your co-workers up the stairs behind me so they could all join in laughing at your stupid paranoid husband? Maybe as a whole group they would make such a scene that everyone else in the party would rush over to see what was going on, and then all my friends and neighbors could join in laughing at the jealous buffoon? So that was your plan? You thought that by humiliating me in front of everyone, you would teach me, once and for all, to trust you and never question your loyalty to me?" Well, I just wanted you to finally realize how wrong you were about Ron. How you kept jumping to the wrong conclusions, and how much it hurt me when you believed those things about me. I guess I thought our banter would be an effective way to show you how wrong you were. So when I didn't run up the stairs and burst in on you two, it ruined your fun and pissed you off so much that you needed to punish me in another way? So you came up with a great way to teach me a lesson, to show me who's boss, to put me in my place. Amy went pale. What? What do you mean? What lesson? What are you talking about? You know, you actually let Ron have you on my bed while I was downstairs playing the role of master. It must have been a really delicious revenge for me messing up your plans. Oh, goodness gracious. Here we are again. I told you what happened. Yes, you told me a version of what happened, not the full version because you left out a few details. I'm sure you and Gail spent a lot of time last night reworking that version to include some of the truth. Just enough truth to make it believable. I have no idea what you're talking about. Look, Mark, I said I was wrong. Please, baby, let's just forget about my stupid plan and stop fighting. Oh, I don't think so, I said and pulled a plastic baggie out of my pocket. This was your revenge. This is the part of your story you wouldn't tell me. This proves that I can't trust anything you've told me. Amy looked at the bag, trying to see what was in it. I picked it up, letting it wiggle slightly in my fingers. She squinted her eyes. Then she saw... I smiled, seeing the shock on her face. He really is a dumbass. He tied it off before releasing the water. The trapped air bubble kept him on the water. I got up in the middle of the night to go pee and found him floating in the toilet bowl. The jerk never bothered to check to see if he had been flushed. Oh my God! Amy stared at me with her mouth hanging open. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied to you. You're right. When you didn't rush upstairs, I lost my temper and wanted to punish you. I was just drunk enough to let that dumbass Ron fuck me without thinking, leaning over our bed. It seemed like a good way to teach you a lesson. I know, stupid, right? Hell, everything I did was stupid. My plan to embarrass you was stupid. Fucking Ron was stupid. I really messed up. As she lowered her head and cried, I thought about what this meant for our future. Was this the end for us? Would I be able to survive a one-time event born of the anger and frustration I helped fuel with my constant doubt? Doubt. That gnawing feeling in my gut that something was wrong. Many months ago, I knew something had changed. Amy had changed. But how? Why did I believe she was messing around with Ron? Why was she willing to go to such extremes to make me see that Ron was never a threat? At least not until she let intoxication and her anger get the better of her last night. And the fact that she decided that secretly sleeping with Ron was a fitting punishment for me messing up her plan. That wasn't the Amy I married. When did sex become so meaningless to her that she could use it as a symbolic punishment? Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it. Meaningless sex. Sex for a purpose other than love. Damn. I looked at her sobbing figure. She had become a skillful manipulator. Gail must have taught her the fine art of negotiation, utilizing all her abilities. Gail, her mentor, a woman who consistently outperformed all of her male competitors. Gail, now an aging sales manager, took young Amy under her wing. Gail, a notoriously hoary divorcee, showed Amy how to win every negotiation with her male clients. Damn it! How could I have been so blind? I was so proud of her for suddenly taking a leadership position in sales. She had received many awards and bonuses over the past few years. Gail was her biggest cheerleader. The bonuses allowed us to start funding college for our children and pay all of our bills. But at what cost? Time for some answers. I slowly started clapping my hands. Bravo, bravo! That was quite a performance. Such quick thinking. Gail has trained you well. It didn't take you long to realize that you lost the battle with Ron, so you give me this tearful apology, hoping I'll focus on your one mistake. A mistake you made in a huff and a little drunk. A mistake you're pretty sure you can convince the father of your children to forgive, for the sake of the children. I have to admit that's a pretty good strategy. You know I'm hopelessly devoted to my girls and would do anything for them. So you're counting on me to be willing to sacrifice my outrage over the mistake to avoid causing heartache to my innocent children. Why wouldn't I be? I mean, you have now admitted to your cruel plan to teach me a lesson by humiliating me, and you've admitted to the mistake you made in your drunken frustration when I foiled your plan. You took the blame for it all and apologized to me. Oh my God, what else could you do? The tears stopped. Amy froze in place, studying my face, trying to read my unspoken thoughts. She didn't say a word. I could practically see her mind frantically figuring out where this was going and how she could regain control of the situation. Amy, I believe what you told me about Ron and what happened at the party. I'm sorry I suspected you of having an affair with him. I'm now convinced that that incident was the only sex you had with Ron. Yes, baby. It was the only time, I swear. It was a stupid mistake, and I promise I will never have sexual contact with that dumbass again. Please, honey, can we just put all this behind us? I love you so much. Please, baby, please. Even if I said I was willing to forgive your attempts to humiliate me and forgive sex with another man in our marital bed, there's still the problem with everything else. What? What do you mean, what others? I have to admit, it took me too long to realize that. As soon as I met Gail and heard all the rumors about her, I should have seen it coming, but I trusted you. Then later, when my gut kept telling me something was wrong, I thought it was Ron. I was wrong about Ron, but I had every reason to be worried about you. Didn't I? Worried? What do you mean, worried? I don't know what you're talking about. I sighed tiredly and leaned back in my chair, shaking my head. I was so tired of the deception, the half-truths, the wagging. I had no actual proof of what she was doing, but I knew. Deep down, I knew I'd lost her months ago. My sweet love, the woman I hoped to love for the rest of my life, was gone. There was no doubt that Gail had shown her the path to riches and rewards, but it was Amy who decided to take that path. She willingly chose to disregard her vows and go into prostitution. And for what? Her ego? A few extra dollars? Cheap thrills? To hell with it, it doesn't matter why she did it. Amy, I know what you do. I know how you close so many sales. I can't even begin to tell you how much it hurts me to know what you've become. The shock on her face was the only confirmation I needed. It was brief, but I saw it before she could pull herself together and smile at me. Mark, honey, I thought we were done with this nonsense. I admitted my one mistake with Ron, but I have no idea what you're talking about right now. I don't know what you think you know, but I just want to stop all this crazy talk and get on with our lives. Now we need to get cleaned up and go get your daughters. I know they love your parents, but I'm sure they miss their daddy. So that's exactly what we did. I spent the rest of the day admiring my girls and considering my options. On Monday, I went to my lawyer and filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. My attorney told me not to hold my breath or particularly count on it, but still she filled out a petition asking for joint custody of the girls with me as primary custodian. I asked to serve Amy at work to see if that got Gail's attention. In the middle of the afternoon, my phone rang right after I got confirmation that she had been served. Mark, are you out of your mind? Are you going to divorce me because of this Ron crap? It didn't make sense, it was wrong, it was stupid, and we talked about it all. Baby, you can't do this to our girls, you love them too much. Punish me any way you want. Just please don't destroy our family. I already told you, Ron is only a small part of it. I just can't be married to the woman you've become. More crazy talk. Baby, I'm worried about you. Obviously, you're having a hard time accepting my stupid mistake, I realize that, but this divorce crap could hurt our girls. We have to get through this. Maybe counseling would help us. You want me to arrange that? Sign the papers, Amy. Then you'll be free to live your life as you wish. The girls and I will do just fine on our own. They can stay with me while you travel, and you can see them as often as you like. Don't dream! There'll be no goddamn divorce! And I would never let you take my girls away from me. You will stop this nonsense right now. If you fight me on this, you're gonna get hurt. Mark, I love you. Please don't make me fight you. An hour later, my phone rang, and it was Gail. I was expecting her call. Tell your protege to sign the papers. It's your only option. She signs the contract, the girls stay with me, and you keep pimping her out for your clients. Silly boy. You have no proof she's ever done anything but one time with Ron, and that had nothing to do with me. Come on, you seem smarter than that. I don't need proof. I just need to make that statement very loudly and publicly. She's done it so often that I'm sure at least one of your competitors will want to spend the time and energy to get the evidence necessary to file a complaint. That would trigger an investigation, and you certainly don't want an investigation now, do you? Bitch! Would you do that? Would you destroy her just for revenge? You know the girls will suffer too if anything comes out about their mother. She'll sign the papers or I'll go public. And Gail, if this goes public, I will be sure to include you in the training and counseling. You counseled her on how to be the new prostitute in sales at your company instead of you. You've gotten old, after all. Do you think the board of directors will have any questions for you? Tell her to sign and she'll listen to you. My lawyer got the signed papers a week later. Amy moved into a nice apartment about 2 miles from our house. She sees the girls often and usually attends all of their school and sporting events. We rarely talk, and as far as I know, she is still using all her assets to close sales and win awards. A week ago, I saw Gail and Amy leaving a nice restaurant. I had just pulled into the parking lot when they approached the car. Gail opened the door and then turned to Amy again. She pulled her in and they kissed passionately. I sat there for a few minutes. Once again, Amy surprised me. Hell, how could I not know she liked girls? It certainly explained why Gail was such a big influence on her. I guess I never really knew her, but I'm sure glad to be rid of her. I don't know if I'll ever get married again, but if I catch myself thinking about it, I'll definitely be asking a lot of questions before I put the ring on my chosen one's finger. Lesson learned.